Charlie Parsons for Boxing Social in association with Betfred here with a trainer I've never caught up with before, so quite excited here at the presser day, the launch presser for Troy Williamson, Josh Kelly, a really, really good British title fight that lands on TV that we can all see. Just first, let's go straight into the fight itself. One that obviously had its doubters online and people saying, will Josh take this fight? He did. He wanted it straight away. I know from your guys' side you wanted the fight straight away. When that call comes, like you said up there from the British board, what's the process of moving forward with it from your side of things?
Firstly, hello Charlie Parsons. Nice to meet you. Make it good. Don't bore me like some of the others. I like the fight. I like Troy Williamson. I've watched quite a bit of him. I know that Josh, we'd spoken before the board called me. We talked about where we were going, what type of opponents we were going to be looking at. Troy's name was definitely in there. And when we got that call out of the blue by the Board of Control to say they wanted to put it out for the British title, I was going to say yes straight away. But actually, I'm his manager. I need to actually phone him first. So I went through the normal bum fluffery. Gave him a call. He said yes, and then that was it. It was on.
In terms of what he spoke about up there, which is something that I hadn't seen before, I think he said that he may have done an article on it a couple of months ago, but the mental demons that he'd been battling with, was that also something that maybe came into play? Because we've also obviously seen that he's only had 2 fights since his return, a stoppage and going a distance. For him, obviously we know how talented he is, we've always known how talented he is, he'll want to get back in the mix, but was it more dealing with the demons and sort of, I suppose if he feels like he's right to get back into it, then he is able to get into it, but sort of first hand for you having to go through that with him, how sort of was that experience?
It was a first for me, quite traumatic and upsetting, but as a team we've grown through the process. I've learned through the process. I always try and keep my mind open to understanding things in a new way, but he has evolved into a young man that's comfortable with himself, understands himself more, and understanding yourself and what makes you tick is actually a hell of a weapon. And I've seen a steep trajectory and improvement in him in the gym almost every day. So he's 28 years old, he's coming into his physical prime, and knowing how he's evolved as a man as well. We're through the dark days, which is a nice thing.
See, no one would ever wish that sort of thing on them, but the fact that he's come out the other side and he's almost like a new gen fighter coming into his prime, a transitioned person almost, does that make it even more exciting for you now, seeing what you had in the past and now seeing what you've got and saying, okay, look, I've really got sort of not the finished project, but we're getting there?
Well, it certainly makes it, like, I've always had my belief in Josh and his ability and how his talent ranks with other fighters I've been involved with, and it just leaves me now with a different understanding and a different confidence in looking at the situation. I'm thinking, oh, okay, now I can really see how he could prove what he can be as a fighter.
Harlem has got his fight announced. He main events at York Hall. The night before, a weekend of just loads and loads of boxing. I think there's Matchroom and BT going on the Saturday, and then Boxer going on the Sunday. Wasserman have thrown themselves in and said, look, we'll go on the Friday. I think this will be a bit of a spectacle, to be honest. I believe that England-USA is on that day as well, and there'll be a little bit of pause for watching that in the venue. So look, Harlem stepping up, first main event. I imagine you're buzzing and really excited with the progression and how he's looking?
Absolutely. Like, Harlem's such a joy to have in the gym, and exemplary as a professional as well. There's never a bad day with Harlem. I genuinely can't think of one bad day since I've known him. And his attitude and his application is impeccable. He's given himself every opportunity to have the success he wants. He's evolved and developed in the shadows, and 25th of November is his time to step up, Channel 5 main event, take the spotlight and prove that he's ready for that spotlight and ready to bounce on to new levels.
For him, he's got to get through this at York Hall, and then look, can be more regular main event appearances, co-main event on the big cards, and obviously we know how big that and special that Eubank name is, but cement himself in that Eubank legacy as well.
Absolutely, cement the name of Harlem Eubank in his own legacy, and let's enjoy November the 25th where he's main evented for the first time.
A few more from me. Let's move on to the heavyweights. Neutral ground for yourself. We've seen Tyson Fury versus Derek Chisora has been announced. Probably not the fight that all of the British public wanted, but they've got their reasons for it. Tyson wanted to be out by the end of the year. Derek Chisora is the opponent, coming off a split decision win with Kubrat Pulev. Your thoughts?
Derek, on his night, If the right Derek Chisora turns up, it can be a nightmare and a headache for any heavyweight in the world. He's got about as much experience as a heavyweight fighter as any heavyweight out there. When you think about his fight with Vitaly Klitschko, his 2 with Tyson Fury, his fight with David Haye, there's heavyweight champions right there. So there's nothing that Derek hasn't experienced. And if all of a sudden his tail's up, he trains hard and he's up for it, he can pose any heavyweight. So I'm surprised that people are discrediting it so quickly when Derek's proven in the past that he can look like he's finished in one fight and then all of a sudden have a new lease of life in the next one.
Just on the Anthony Joshua front as well, as someone who's a trainer, a manager, if you had someone like AJ yourself, obviously he wanted to be out end of the year, not looking likely now. I think we're now looking January, February, potentially even March. How do you move someone like AJ? Because there was talk of him maybe going straight back into that Fury fight. Management-wise and career-wise, maybe not the best step, a really big payday, a really big event for the fans, but does he now have to go back to the drawing board and go in with maybe like, Otto Wallins, a name that's been thrown about? People are now even saying that Dillian Whyte could be that next fight for him?
No, I don't think he needs to go back to the drawing board in terms of going back in his level of opposition. He's at the highest level, and he's been at the highest level now for quite some time. Losing to Alexander Usyk twice on points is no shame. And he fought Dillian Whyte, beat Dillian. He's fought Klitschko, beat Klitschko. So no, he's at that level, and he's at the level where it's like, well, just make the fights then. But if the fights don't get made, go and get another fight of, if not similar standing, as close to it as possible. I don't think he needs to drop down in levels now.
Do you believe he's overly criticised with the sort of media, and when you sort of build yourself up like Anthony Joshua has been built up, the minute that you're not the top dog anymore, of course, loads of criticism comes in with that, and I'm sure Josh would have experienced that in the same way, in that, dubbed to sort of 0 to 100, as Calla said in the press conference, and then you take a loss, and everyone turns there and changes their opinion on you. Do you think sort of Josh gets too much criticism? Anthony Joshua, that is.
I don't know. I mean, all that matters is what he chooses to do. He's the one that's in there. He's the one that's fighting. He's the one that's winning and losing. He's the one that is life, and everyone's got an opinion on his life and his circumstance. Which that's why he's probably made the money he has, because people care whether it's good or bad. The worst thing you want is for people to be indifferent about you. You want them to love you or hate you, because that way you've got a value in a commercial business. So he should be delighted that either people are hating on him or loving him, because it just means that AJ is popular and the business rolls on.
Adam, first time of many speaking to you, I hope, top man. Just a final message to the people watching at Boxing Social ahead of this really, really good British title fight that we'll see in December.
It will be, and it is potentially a genuine barnstorming, entertaining fight.
Totally agree, top man.